What's going on, Fit Fam? Are you ready for this? I have been slacking this week, and I can give you 1,000 excuses, which are probably all relevant, like family's out of town, stayed up super late on Monday, cracked a tooth. Yep, cracked a tooth. I don't know if that has anything to do with exhaustion or anything, but I think it's when you're on the go for 7 weeks straight, and you're just constantly applying, learning, developing, creating, and having meetings and interviews and filling out paperwork and hearing the jobs that you didn't get and then getting the job you did get. And it's just so many avenues. But let me give you an update of what's happening. It's kind of interesting. The one of the jobs I applied for, which I thought was interesting because I'm doing a feedback loop. I asked them for feedback just to see what they would say. So I went ahead and interviewed for another position, even though I had accepted a position just to practice and just to see what would happen. And this panel was also all women. And I had this weird, this is the second time I've interviewed with all women, totally qualified for the position, but whatever it is, who I am, obviously didn't mismatch with them. And I wonder if there was some kind of bias because I'm not a woman. So I'm curious to see if the other people hired women as well. But it's been this roadmap of, trying to, I guess, hack this whole interview thing. So what happened was I recorded the other episodes, didn't post them, didn't edit them because I was exhausted. I was tired. And I didn't even work out. That's what I'm saying. I've slacked. So let me bring up the speed of things that I talked about and things that are working. The last episode, I wanted to talk about, if you guys, I know there's a lot of you that are either being laid off, have been laid off, or looking for a job. If you want me to do an episode, I can go down deeper into what are the techniques that I used to apply. And I could put links in the show notes of the videos that I watched, the people who helped kind of get my mindset into gear. And actually, I did do that on day one. Okay, so I already did that. But if you want me to go deeper, we can definitely go deeper. I came across another workout program. It's called the Tricor Method, which is very, very similar to what I was doing, but this guy's like selling it, right? So he's a bodybuilder and that's his deal. And he developed this. And all it is the first rep, you're just doing it slow, 3 to 4 seconds lowering, 1 to 2 seconds up. The second rep, you're doing a static hold. So instead of going all the way down, you just hold. Hold for, what do you say, 5 seconds? 5 seconds per rep. And then you go back. And I think it's midpoint in the exercise when tension is the highest. So I guess you would go all the way down and then go back up and then hold if you're doing bench. And then the third rep is explosive, So I don't know if you would add more weight. I guess you would add more weight. And then so you're just doing three sets, 3 sets of, I guess, 6 to 8 reps, I think is what he had said. So all it is, and that the main purpose for that was to just increase the actual tension, time under tension, to build that muscle group. I was going to give it a try. I had chat write me out a workout because of just to see if I could do it in a half hour, and it gave me a ton of exercise. I'm like, I can't do that in a half hour, so I might adapt it and see. I'll try the 3 set deal, to see if that does anything when I go back into it. Like even now, see, I'm tired now. Oh, another thing. So remember in the very beginning, I talked about my daughter having a disease called hypophosphatasia, and the only reason why she got it is because I have a gene, my wife has a gene, and when we had her, they mixed. And the gene I have is actually probably what's responsible for my cracked tooth. My daughter had lost 2 teeth prematurely, and it was because the roots were kind of weird. And the last time I had a cracked tooth, I had an x ray, and they saw that my roots were kind of weird. So I think we're going down that avenue and trying to see, what are my options. My wife definitely has hypophosphatasia, so I think she needs the medicine. And this medicine's ridiculous. It's like $35,000 a month for the shot. So thank God for insurance. I luckily don't need the medicine because I guess without it, you feel very tired. You have low energy. Your bones are basically softer because your body's not absorbing certain minerals. So it's just kind of an interesting thing where, we were looking at my history, for citrin deficiency was more prominent in my youth. But my wife had asked me, was I tired when I was younger? And I'm like, no, I played sports and I ran and was one of the fastest kids in the class and all that stuff. When I was little, elementary, I'm like not fast anymore. So the other thing that was announced that I had talked about, I think there was like a 4,000 employees were laid off for like Salesforce because of AI. So I mean, that's just crazy. And then what did they say? OpenAI is creating their own LinkedIn version based on AI, which I think is good. I think LinkedIn has so many complaints. You see the jobs that are posted repeatedly, or you see jobs that are posted that are no longer hiring, and it doesn't really focus on, they have that tool if you're in, which most people aren't doing, but they have that premium feature where you can ask AI, is this job a fit for me? Well, I think AI should just know what job you fit and just give you those jobs. But you have to go through this weird system of going, does this work? Does this one fit me? Does that one look good? Or it tells you this is a good match. I think overall, AI should just go, here, these are the jobs that are a great match for you. Apply. And then then you have to do this hack where if there's over 100 people have already applied, that means you're too late in the game. That's one of the hacks that I did was there's a way that you could put in the URL a code that will give you the jobs that are posted within the last hour so that you have a higher chance when you apply of being seen. And I think that is a key. I did that. I definitely did that a lot. And I think most of my interviews came from that direction because I was within the top 30, top 20 people where my resume was actually being looked at, because recruiters are looking at resumes and just going next, next. That's about as fast as it, because they're skimming and looking for keywords. So that's something to think about when applying for a job. So OpenAI is also creating an academy to help workers kind of up level their AI fluency for jobs. So I mean, that's good. I don't know why, but I feel like my voice is starting to go hoarse. What did I do the last couple of days? Well, I ate, worked on this, figured out trying to do the tooth. We have an agreement in our family, and I don't know if you guys do this. Obviously, guys, most of us, we hate the doctor. We don't go to the doctor. So anytime that I have to go to the doctor, my wife actually calls them and schedules it because I don't want to talk to people. These people they drive me nuts. The things that they ask me. And plus, I don't even remember. And they say, are you on this medication? Are you taking this? What supplements? I don't know. I don't write this stuff down. Like, magnesium. Okay, what kind of magnesium? I don't know. I'm not going to remember. And they'll ask me, like, when's the last time you had this? What year did you have that? And all that. I'm never going to remember. My wife, for whatever reason, she remembers that stuff. So I think it has to do with ladies having a good memory. So she does that. Another nuance is like whenever we are trying to get out of a situation, we give each other permission to blame the other person. So if she needs to, let's say there was a function that she was invited to, she doesn't want to go to, she'll go, oh yeah, I can't go to that. My husband's got something planned, or my husband's doing this or whatever, so that she can get out of it. So we have that agreement that if we need to change any kind of plans, we can use the other person as an excuse. With money, everyone says money is always that weird nuance. And I've been with, I had my ex-wife. We had separate accounts. We never had access to each other's accounts. My wife, though, my current wife now, we literally have 3 banks. Do we have 3 banks? Yeah, 3 banks. And we all have access to the banks themselves, all of them. So we always know what's happening. Now, I typically pay all the bills out of one account. So I do all that type of management. Um, and bedtime. So you know how you always see the videos of the wife is always pulling the sheets or the guy's pulling the sheet. We actually have two sheets. So my wife has her comforter, which is it covers the whole bed, but I prefer for whatever reason, and I don't know how this developed. I prefer heavy blankets. So I actually bought a weighted blanket, and it weighs 40 pounds, and but it just helps me sleep. And so I use that as my comforter, and then she has her own comforter. So that way, no one's pulling blankets, and everyone gets a good night's sleep. So that's what's been going on. So the Tricon routine, I will link that in the show notes. Let's talk about affirmations. So today's affirmation is success isn't linear, it's a series of recoveries. In other words, the only way you can succeed is you fail. And for the most of us, I mean, there's going to be some people that just succeed. But you can't compare yourself to those people, which I know a lot of people do. And they're like, why? What's wrong with me? You have to just keep trying, try and fail, try and fail. It's no different than interviewing. I've interviewed for so many jobs in my life and I've failed so many times. But in a period of time, in the beginning, I'm not interviewing very well. Towards the end, I know my stuff. And it's just the way it goes. And anything that you do, like making a film. First time I made a film, it failed. It wasn't that great. We didn't win anything. And then the second time I made a film, they did better. And the third time I made a film, they did better. And I'm going to make my other film, my next film. So I'm hoping that every time it's just going to get better and better and better. So again, don't compare yourself to other people because that is the worst. There was a video I was watching of affirmations. So another good affirmation that I heard was, I'm not my job. I'm not my wealth. I am a unique, valuable individual with infinite potential. Huge. That's by Wayne Dyer. And you have to keep on thinking that. A lot of us have gotten laid off, and there was a guy that I was just talking to, worked at with the same company I did. He was there for 15 years and got laid off. And, sometimes a lot of people, when they have their job, thankfully he's in the entertainment business as I am. And so we always have these outlets of other things that we're involved in that keep us busy. And also, it's a passion. A lot of things that we work on are passion projects. And so a lot of people that don't have that, though, their whole world is their job because they spend so much time and they invest so much energy into that career, but then when they get laid off, it's like devastating. And I think it's important to realize that we are not our job. And if we don't have money, we're not our wealth. Whatever we contain on the inside, that's what we can develop. That's what we can become. And that's who we are. So a few things to think about, not worry about. In the future, this will be good because now that I was kind of gearing away from vlogging every day, I can just do these long vlogs and give you that. I probably will not, for editing's sake, film my workouts anymore. The only reason I filmed it because I thought everyone else films it. And, and then instead of filming the whole entire workout, I thought, well, what if I just cut it down to the last rep and you could see the form and all that? I don't really think people care. Do you guys care? I don't think anyone cares. No one, I've never sat through a video and watched the entire workout. And I usually will skim through to see what they're doing or the technique and then see if I can, learn their technique. But that's it. I don't watch, do people do that? I don't know. Do they work out along with you? I don't know. But I'm not going to record my workouts anymore. I'm just going to work out and then we'll talk about it if we need to. That was the beginning, was just to say, hey, I'm working out. It's been a slacker week. Sometimes you got to have those days. And, the weeks, sometimes you just got to reset. Hit the reset button, take a break, take a breather. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. I think we live in a society that is instant gratification and we're constantly pushing. You don't have to do that. Go at your own pace. Obviously, try to keep aware of what's happening, but do what you need to do and focus on. I think part of the reason why I'm vlogging today is I had to get up at 7. I had class this morning. So, today we're talking about 8 and 8, the whole automation thing, which I think it's good for me to know, but I don't really have that drive to learn this aspect of it because I don't what they're automating. I'm like, I mean, today was about charts and graphs, and I'm like, but I could do that in Power BI. So it didn't really, I don't know. Use cases. I think the only way I can really learn something is if the use cases really aligns with what I want to do. The so like content development, right? Using AI and creating movies and videos and content for learning and development and that type of thing. That's the stuff I'm into. The creative outlet. Except for Comfy UI, if anyone's heard of that, that's kind of it's a free open source tool, but it looks so convoluted. I'm like, I don't know why. I mean, I understand the free part, but to build it on the back end so you can continue to use it, I'm like, it doesn't. I guess once you get the framework down, I guess it's easier. But it's just like working out. Once you understand what muscle group you're working on and how to manipulate any asset of what you're trying to do, if you're doing arms and what kind of exercise you can do for arms, I think maybe that's what they're going. But there you go, rambling. So keep up the good work. We'll continue to push. And just if you guys have any questions about the job and all that stuff, I'm more than happy to put in the show notes or write up a document or whatever to help other people, because I know what it's like when you're looking, and I know what it's like, that feeling of despair on that end. And I would just want to help mitigate that for as many people as I can, because I've been there 3 times. All right. See ya.